Why putting? Have you always has putting always been like the best part of your game? What was kind of the draw to that aspect of golf?
Right. As soon as you say putting's the best part of your game, or whatever part it is, right? Driving, chipping, whatever it is, right? That's where it goes out the window. No, I mean, to be honest, yes. Putting was something that I think I was confident in. Was I always, really good at it? No. But it took a lot of work, I think, to get to where mainly I was confident in my stroke, confident in what I was using. I mean, for the longest time, and if you go check out my website, you can read my kind of about page. And that's where I talk about what got me hooked was when my dad took me to do a putter fitting. And which I find funny because I did back then in the early 90s, I didn't get fit for irons or, woods or anything like that. But he was like, we need to go get you a putter that actually fits you. And back then, I mean, I might have been 6 feet tall, or I might have been, I don't know. But anyways, I'm 6'3" now. So back then, I think whatever he had, because I basically would just steal his clubs. He had nicer clubs than me because he worked in a golf shop while he was going through his MBA. And so I would just go steal his irons. He had these really nice McGregor, Jack Nicklaus, VIP forged.
Yeah.
From the kind of early 90s. I would take those. I was playing power builds, and they're great. Power builds, fine, but I would steal his clubs. Anyways, I always ended up with his hand-me-down putter. So I putted with a Dunlop, knockoff for probably 2 years, and I think it was my birthday. I'm trying to remember if it was birthday or Christmas. Those things are very close to me. Anyways, he takes me to Edwin Watts, and I don't know if y'all recognize Edwin Watts. But was a major retailer out there, and did a ping putter fitting, was fit into an Answer 3. I thought, oh my gosh, I've made it, right? Scotty Cameron, I don't even think Scotty had his own thing, and he was doing Mizuno and then his own thing. He was not with Titleist yet. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I get fit into this putter, and that's when it clicked. I mean, that and taking lessons in middle school is really where I started to feel more fluid with my game. So in my mind, it was always, if I can just get to the green, I know I can get in the hole. And, even if I was feeling off in other parts of my game, if I could just get to the green, I felt confident I could get it in the hole. And so I think that's where it all started. I really love the kind of artistry side of putting. I mean, there's artistry to every part of this game. This is such a complex game. But putting, you can have different strokes. There's so many different shapes of putters now. I mean, I really remember when mallets were coming out, and remember thinking, God, that's ugly, and now, like an Odyssey Rossi. I had one, this awesome guy, Gil, up in Huntsville, Alabama, bought it. It's this, it's a late 90s Odyssey that I had used on my website. Very clean though. That's the thing. Very clean. I'm not putting a bunch of dinged up, putters on my website.
I was just going to say, I just looked before we started this, and they're all very, very clean. I like it.
Thank you. There's a couple of, the Scotty community are funny because they're like, don't refinish it, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that. So I've got a Sonoma on my website that's a little beat, but they're all like, don't do it, because it immediately devalues. It's like, whatever. I don't know what that's.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. That's Sonoma. Yeah, pink, purple, like rainbow if you want. Who cares? But anyways, most of my stuff is really clean. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. But I remember when those came out. My uncle bought one, and I was like, ugh, you dork. What are you doing with this ugly, half moon putter? You had no idea, that this was going to be the start of mallets, and then high MOI, and then you're going to get the spider shape, and now we've got, the clown shoe toilet seat of Lab, which I refuse. Do either of you putt with a Lab?
No, I saw you had a funny. It was your April Fool's, I think. It was like Lab putters. Fools. Yeah, never.
Man, yeah. Okay, let me tell you a little story. So Putter Shop is we are heavily focused on online, right? Mm. The future is still online, as much as may want to say it or not, right? I don't know. But I recognize in the golf industry, there's a side that I want to touch it, I want to see it, I want to use it, and then determine, do I buy it? There's a whole nother side that is, I don't have access to clubs, I don't have access to putters, I don't have access to whatever it is. Maybe you live in the middle of Iowa, right? Maybe you're stuck in a snowstorm in Syracuse. I don't know. But, wherever you are, yeah, right? Or you're down here in Texas and the pavement is melting, like literally melting away. Whatever it is, you might not be able to go to a store. You might not have access, but most of the time you have access to the internet. And folks will go to a store, will touch something, feel something, and then buy it online because you get a better price. You may not have access to certain clubs, so you're gonna take a chance and buy it online. So that was kind of the initial thought, especially with the social media age, especially with all these other avenues to do your own fitting virtually or just on your own. All of these things. And I said, I want this to be, an online focused business. So really more e-commerce than building a brick and mortar. All right. So getting this together, I started reaching out to all the OEMs. I have a phone list. I still have it where I called Odyssey and I called Titleist and I called TaylorMade and I just ran the whole list. I was at Seymour. I put into the Seymour in early 2000s. After, Payne Stewart and Zach Johnson, that guy's a jerk. But anyway, so we go out there, shot fired. He doesn't care about me. So I go out there and I call everybody. Well, I get a ton of, especially my heart was broken with ping because I'd played ping for so long. I got a ton of, no, if you don't have a brick and mortar, we're not interested. And I got to the point where I was like, I get that you guys have your own online retailers. They're selling on their own websites. Obviously, the brick and mortars sell online. Like no brick and mortar is not selling online. They're all selling online. But I kept getting no's, and because I don't have a brick and mortar, and I thought this is so antiquated when it comes to any industry. If you're like, no, because you don't have a place to go physically see it, we're not going to allow you to sell our goods. And the folks at Cleveland, Shrixon, Never Compromise, Asics, Zexios, the Dunlop family, they said, oh, no, we buy in. We get it. And I was like, this is incredible. The folks at PXG said, hey, we get it. Like, we're doing the same thing. So those were early brands that said, no, we see your vision and, we're willing to let you sell our stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was like, and so shout out to Steve Batchelor. He's here in North Dallas. He's my Shrixon Cleveland guy. He's phenomenal. He's been all over the golf industry, worked for a PGA Tour Superstore. He was early on helping them set up, like I think he opened their like fourth store in existence. And then he worked in Georgia for a while and we kind of had this Georgia connection as well. And he ends up here in Dallas. So anyways, long story short, there's some people that buy in. Well, I talked to the Lab folks. Okay, so here's my story. Lab, which you look at their stuff and you're like mad scientist, bunch of kooky people, their whole revealer nonsense. And I'm going, of course, they're going to be totally cool with it. And I putted with the Lab before, not fit to me. I went in PGA Tour Superstore and, messed with their stuff. And I thought, surely they're going to be down for this whole thing. No, they were the same. They might as well have been, old ping. They said, if you don't have a brick and mortar, we're not going to let you sell. And I was like, that's where it started. Not that I have they'll destroy me in a minute. But I was like, no, I'm not going to take this. Any chance I get to rag on people that use a Lab, I'm going to do it. Because I feel like it creates bad putting habits. It takes away
you're not wrong.
Interaction. Mm-hmm. You could just, I don't know. I need to not say something offhanded, here, but it's like anybody can putt with a Lab because it's just swinging itself. So that's where I go. That's like my whole, I will make fun of Lab. It'll probably be an April Fool's joke every year. But I get people that ask about it all the time. And I understand. We're trying to do anything we can to help our putting, right? At the end of the day, we're all looking for some sort of advantage or something. My response to that usually is, and I know we don't always have the time to do it, even myself included, who's running a putter shop and putts a lot, you just got to get out there and practice with what you've got. The best thing to do is to find something that is visually appealing to you, that matches your stroke, and that's going to be based on how the neck connects with the head, what kind of grip you're using, how you actually grip the club yourself, how you're setting up. All of these are important. Everything has a factor to it, and it's getting out there and practicing. And you get into a good routine. You can putt with anything. I like to challenge myself. I like to putt with the heel shafted putters, the old schools, the 8802s, the designed by Cleveland's. I love visually looking at that putter. It's a harder putter to stroke. It's got more toe flow. So I like to force myself to putt with them because it reminds me how much easier it is to putt with a blade style, and then how much easier it is to putt with a mallet style. And now I've been testing some center shafted just for giggles, but no labs. So
No labs.
No labs. You ain't gonna find no lab in my bag. But yeah, it's funny. Matter of fact, it's funny here at the university. I had a guy come into my office earlier, this student that I absolutely love, and we talk golf stuff. And he goes, "Hey, do you have any labs?" And I go, please do not do it. Well, do not. Like, he's talking about. I'm like, dude, you do not need to go. He's got a spider. I'm like, that thing's ugly enough. You do not need a lab. Unless it's the Link 1 or whatever, which I had to use one of those. I sold it, thank God, to get it out of the shop. But no, anyways, I just rag on lab for giggles. So I'm sure they're awesome. I'm sure they're awesome.
Yeah. You have a combination of new and used though, right? Cool.
Yeah. So when it comes to new, it's Cleveland, it's Never Compromise, it's PXG. Yeah. So any of those families, I can order anything. If I don't have it in stock, I can order anything that anybody wants, get it cut to any length you want, change out grips, do all of that stuff. You get exactly what you want. I've done some custom orders of Cleveland's and Never Compromises that I kind of call my shop version. So putting on a Super Stroke, Pistol 1.0 instead of the stock Cleveland or stock Never Compromise. Or doing a Golf Pride grip instead of a lambkin that they offer. And so just some of those kind of different things cut to certain lengths. Cleveland Never Compromise. They're really good. So is PXG as well. If you want a composite shaft instead of doing an all steel shaft, that's easy to do. And so all those kinds of things. But it's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. I fit friends that I kind of grew up with back in Georgia. Get a new putter. I was talking with a guy that I even went to church with back in Atlanta, and hadn't talked to him in a year. And he's like, "Hey man, I need to get a new putter. What do I do?" We're texting back and forth, trying to get him into just a Cleveland. I mean, these Clevelands are ridiculous.
It's so funny you just said that, because I was looking at your website, but I'm also not to sidetrack it here, but last year I finally got a good new set of clubs. I've been kind of using a back and forth one. The last thing I'm missing is a good putter, and actually the Cleveland HB Soft, I've practiced with one of those not too long ago. I'm about to buy one, so you'll probably see, you're gonna be like, why am I shipping to Utica, New York? And that'll be
it's gonna be Gary. Come on, Gary, I'm gonna throw in a bunch of extra fun stuff for you. I call them goodies. So if you look at my website, I got a little button in the middle that says shop all the goodies. I don't know. It just makes me feel good to say goodies. So I always throw in, I always write, you always get a handwritten note when you buy from me. That may not mean anything to you, but I take my time. They're not stock. You might get cursive, you might get print, might get a mix. You never know.
Oh yeah.
But
is this Zodiac?
I write. No, I was trying to think of something funny. I know. You could get some Spanish out of me, but that would be about it.
Okay.
I always throw in if you buy a putter, you're going to get a ball marker. I'm not charging you for it. I mean, I hope people buy them, but I just think they're fun. So I always throw in these little goodies, throw in stickers, all that kind of fun stuff, along with the handwritten note.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
To see more of our content, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. We can be found at Basic Bogeys on all platforms.
Thanks. We hope to see you on the next one.